Hi, it's Jane. I have one finished object, but for the rest of this, there'll be somewhat in Tarnation as well. But what I decided to do was to go through the WIPS that I have sitting over here to the side and decide what I'm going to continue to work on and what I'm going to rip out and start over. Alright, first of all, the only finished item that I have is this gnome that I made. Now this is not a girl or a boy gnome, I just decided to make a gnome. This is with the basic Stitch Studio basic yarn in a dark purple and a lighter purple. Did one little flower on it, another flower on the side. This was just a test to see if I liked the pattern. This pattern is by Winding Road Crochet. She has a female and a male. Like I said, this is neither female nor male. I chose not to make it one or the other. I just left it the way it is. Only because I wasn't real sure about the way that I wanted to do it. The female has an apron and she has braids. So, yeah, like I said, this was just a test pattern. See if I liked it. I enjoyed it. And I will be making more. I will make a male and a female probably in the near future. Alright. Do you remember that I had started this pillow? Maybe you don't remember it. Let me get the picture of it out here. This is that picture there, and I was dared to make it. Well, I never kind of finished it, but I do have quite a few of the petals done, so I am going to finish that eventually. That is on my list to work on. And I have all the yarn together in this nice little bag with the hook. Just need to gather it and get an opportunity to do it. Now, as you know, I was doing this one. I've shown this one before, and I am going to finish it. This is a shawl that was done by Chandy. This one is called Expression Fiber Arts. This one is called, what is it? A Dahlia. And that is the shawl there. You catch these when they're free. And this one I had started. It's using a gray. And then I was going to also add to it this pretty little sparkle yarn. Just do it in two tones. And I do have that all together in this bag. I am going to finish that. This is a crochet pattern. So that one is a good to go. Let's get it done. This one I've shown you before, and I do plan on finishing it. It is the one where I had already done the front of a basic shirt. And here is the front. I started this long before Thomas got sick, but never quite got it finished, and I do plan on finishing it. It'll be a nice oversized shirt, so I will be finishing that one. I just have to finish the back, and I have that all here together. So that will be on the to finish list. Now this next one, I had started it quite some time ago, and it was the Summer Solstice Mystery Shawl, and I don't have a picture of it, not that I can find. But there's the beginning of it. I am not enjoying it, and I was going to do it in two colors, in that pink and a gray from Knit Picks. This is pretty much I want to say a fingering yarn. I am not going to do that. This one I am going to rip out and find a different project to use with those yarns. I don't know what it will be. But I was not enjoying that beginning at all. This also had beads to add to it. I was going to do some pretty much crystal clear beads. That one, rip it out. Rip it out. This one was that one that I had nicknamed my never ever gonna get finished cardigan. I have decided I am going to finish this now that I have had my carpal tunnel surgery. Once my hand is healed up enough to where I can hold the needles, this one I am going to finish. So yeah, I am going to finish that one, even though I said I wasn't. This next one is another knit project, and it is housed in this bag. And I'm not even sure if I have the pattern, because in this I have a yarn bowl, 2 skeins, knit picks in chroma, but no pattern. So, and this is where I'd gotten in it. It's a beautiful shawl, but I have no idea what pattern it is. So this one, I will be ripping out too. And probably changing that to a different pattern in the future. That one, rip it. This next one is one that I had started before Thomas was sick, and it was basically just a knit shirt. I am going to finish this. I have one side and then I have another side that is basically started on the back side, and this was done with the yarn Blue Suede, just a worsted weight by Red Heart. I do have quite a bit of that back in my storage, so yeah, I will continue to make that one. That one I will make and work on in the upcoming year. This next one, I don't even know what's in this bag. May not even be a project. It is a project. It's a knitted project. Ah, this one I will do. This one I will finish. These are the goals for this year. For this one, this is the Rose of Lavender shawl. And this was one of those that was a knit crate pattern. And this was with that yarn that was merino wool, baby alpaca, organic Pima cotton. I have found that I can work, because it's only 20% alpaca, even though I am allergic to alpaca, that I can work 1 to 2 rows and be done with it, and I don't have too much of a outbreak, too much of an issue with it. So that one, yes, I will continue it. I'm not even sure I used the Vitellana. Let me make sure I used the Vitellana. That was partly... Yep, I did use the one that was part alpaca. It was a Vitellana DK. So I will work on that one as well. I have more that I'm working on than I am getting rid of, so I guess that's pretty good, right? But of course, gonna have to wait till the hand is healed up. But yeah, that's some of what I'm looking forward to doing this next year. I really want to concentrate on getting those finished before I start any more. Well, I'll still start more. I'll still, I'm going to work on those gnomes, and I'm going to work on a couple of other things because I have to have a crochet project that's just mindless. So I will probably have that. Of course, I'm also working on the sugar blush that I am using that Barcelona yarn. So that one I will still continue to work on. That one I am using my left hand to crochet. It's a lot slower. My tension is a lot tighter. This hand, because of the bruising that is in here, it is so tender. So I am not going to crochet with my right hand for quite some time. I'm going to allow that to heal up. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with this one. I think that's basically it for the WIPS. That's all I have, WIPS. No more WIPS. So anyway, yeah, I do plan on working on those. And now are you ready for a little what in Tarnation? I know I am. I did get the Medicare all signed up for, and I got my letter from Social Security about the little raise that's coming up, which they'll take it out in Medicare costs. So, big deal. Right? All right. What in Tarnation? Albino deer caught on camera in Pennsylvania. An exceptionally rare albino deer was caught on camera walking around a field in a Pennsylvania county. A resident who requested to remain anonymous provided CBS Pittsburgh with video of the all-white deer wandering casually through a field in Westmoreland County. Pennsylvania Game Commission's website states albino deer have been seen in the state before, but they are exceptionally rare. A white deer was caught last year in West Seneca, New York, but they appear to be, it says that deer appears to be leucistic rather than albino, which is, conditions are kind of related, but albino involves a complete lack of pigment in the entire body, including the eyes, while leucism can leave pigment in the animal's skin, hair, or eyes. And there's video. There's video of this next one, but of course it's done in, I want to say Italian? No, Belgian. In the language, however, you can see the artifact where it is hanging. I find that rather interesting. Stairway decoration in Belgian home found to be a long-lost Pompeii artifact. Wow. A Belgian father and son were shaken and shocked to learn that a souvenir that adorned the hallway of their home for about 50 years was an authentic artifact from the lost Italian city of Pompeii. Raphael de Timmerman, 80, and his son Gert de Timmerman said they visited Italy in 1975. And while touring the city of Pompeii, they were approached by a man who offered to sell them a souvenir, some carved stones depicting a scene. The stone scene was installed in the stairway at the family's Herzli home, and little thought was given to it until this year, when Raphael de Timmerman was preparing to move out of the house and his son decided to have the object appraised. A pair of specialists from the Gallo-Roman Museum in Tongeren visited the home to inspect the stone scene. The next day, the family was visited by police officers who drew up a report. The father and son said they were surprised to be told the stairway decoration was an authentic Pompeii artifact that had been reported stolen 50 years earlier. It's a bit crazy to think that tourists have looked at a replica while the original has been hanging here all this time. As Christians, Tangeron's deputy mayor for culture said officials are keen to see the artifact returned to Italy. Gertz said he will comply with whatever plans authorities devise for the stones to return to Pompeii, but he is hoping for some financial compensation. Pompeii was destroyed by the eruption of Mount Vesuvius in the year 79, and the city is now an archaeological site protected by the UN Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization. Let's get a drink there. UN. You remember last week when I told you about that long-lost tomato on the NASA International Space Station? There's video and pictures. NASA gives update on long-lost space tomatoes. NASA offered up an update on the 2 tomatoes lost for 8 months aboard the International Space Station and offered the first look at the dehydrated fruits. The tomatoes, among the first ever grown in space, were originally suspected to have been eaten by astronaut Frank Rubio, who insisted they were merely lost somewhere on the station. And Expedition 70 crew members recently revealed Rubio was exonerated, as they had located the long-lost foods 8 months later. NASA has now provided a first look at the tomatoes, which are dehydrated and squished. But astronauts said they showed no visible signs of microbial or fungal growth, despite the high humidity aboard the station. Space Agency said the tomatoes were discarded by the station crew. You think they were jettisoned out into space? And maybe they'll land on some other planet or asteroid and grow? Curious minds. That's what I have. And in the video, Frank Rubio talks about the whole thing. It's a cute video. Dogs. Puppies. When they get loose, they create havoc. Chihuahua leads drivers on a chase on New York highway. Traffic on a New York highway was brought to a temporary crawl when a Chihuahua escaped from his owner's yard and went running along the roadway. Tammy Richardson said her dog, Bean, burrowed under a fence when he was spooked by another dog and took off running, ending up on the Staten Island Expressway. About 20 cars on the highway slowed down to make a safe route for Bean. I jumped out and chased. I didn't expect that dog to be so fast. Ella Woja, one of the many people who got out to pursue the canine, told WABC TV. Caitlin McGinley pulled her car over when she spotted Wolska Woja. I was like, why is this woman running on the highway, she said. The dog ran under my car and hid under my tire. Someone gave me a bag and I scooped him up and put him in the car. Bean was later reunited with Richardson safely. There's video of Bean running on the highway. Yuletide owl found roosting in Kentucky family's Christmas tree. A Kentucky family's Christmas tree was inside their home for 4 days before it was discovered to be home to a young owl. Michelle White of Lexington said the owl somehow managed to remain undetected in the tree for 4 days by simply blending in with the branches. I have 3 dogs, she told WDKY-TV. We use this room nonstop. Watch TV. Kitchen's right there. No indication. Bobby Hayes, owner of Magic Carpet Cleaning, was servicing the home while the family was away when he noticed the branches moving. Closer examination revealed an owl moving through the tree. It crawled up into the tree further, Hayes said. Took me several minutes to even find it. Hayes was able to grab the owl and sent the picture to White. I was shocked. I was so stunned, White said. She said she initially thought Hayes was pranking her with a stuffed animal. White said it was lucky for her that Hayes was the one who found the owl and to remove it from the home. I would have left the house. The owl could have stayed without me. I wasn't coming home, White said. Owls have been found in Christmas trees before, including a small owl famously discovered in the Rockefeller Center Christmas tree in New York in 2020. Texas woman made perhaps an even more shocking discovery last week when she looked up into the branches of her Christmas tree, found a possum looking back at her. And there's video of the owl. Kind of makes you wonder how these got into a donation bin. Air Jordans worth over $10,000 fell in a shelter donation bin. An Oregon shelter is auctioning off a rare discovery from its donation bin. A pair of gold Air Jordan 3 sneakers commissioned by Spike Lee and valued at more than $10,000. Sotheby's auction house said a participant in the transitional shelter program at the Burnside shelter operated by the Portland Rescue Mission was sorting through donations earlier this year when he found the gold shoes at the bottom of a bin. Tinker Hatfield, designer of the Air Jordan 3 sneakers, paid a visit to the shelter to examine the shoes. He confirmed they were a custom pair of Air Jordan 3 shoes commissioned by Spike Lee to wear to the Academy Awards in 2019. Hatfield provided the shelter with a replacement box and a framed and signed design proof. The shoes, valued at more than $10,000, are being auctioned by Sotheby's, with 100% of the hammer price going to the Portland Rescue Mission. They are expected to fetch up to $20,000. Bidding on the shoes is open through December the 18th. Too late, guys. It's gone. It's unclear how the shoes came to be in the donation box. Christmas lights. Don't you love looking at the Christmas lights? Record-breaking Christmas lights irk some neighbors in New York. The New York family with the Guinness World Record for the most lights on a residential property said this year's Christmas display is their biggest ever. But not all neighbors are amused. Tim Gay of Unionville, whose family first set the record for most lights on a residential property with 3,406, 283 Christmas lights on 2012, before topping it with their 2014 display, said the latest version of the year ERDHJT holiday lights display, named for his children's initials, now sports 720,426 lights. The opulent Christmas displays are a tradition for the Gay family, but some neighbors said they are tired of the bright lights and long lines of cars the display brings to the neighborhood. What a bunch of Scrooges. Edward J. Cashy announced plans to run for a seat on the town board due to officials failing to rein in the holiday tradition. It's essentially running a Legoland out of your property for 40 days, he told the New York Times. Such Scrooges. Some nearby residents have complained of the crowds leaving their yards littered with discarded alcohol bottles, trash, and even human urine. Don't do that, people. My God. I can see why they'd be complaining. Joseph Kyle, a lieutenant with the LaGrange Fire District, said he is concerned about the effect that traffic could have on emergency vehicles being able to reach the scene of an urgent incident. Town Supervisor Betsy C. Mayes said there are no local ordinances giving the town the power to stop the annual display, and officials have no plans to rein in the merriment. Are you going to be the one to get rid of Santa? She said. Tim Gay said he's not concerned about the criticisms. If you bring joy and happiness to 50,000 people and you have 10 or 20 don't like you, I think that's a fair trade-off, he said. I do too. This one story was one of the stories featured by Guinness Record as one of the most unusual stories for 2023. Most skips by a cat in 1 minute. A talented tabby hailing from Missouri vaulted over a jump rope 9 times in 1 minute to break the record for most skips by a cat in 1 minute. Owner Tricia Seafried said she and her 13-year-old Kit Kat have been practicing jump rope routines since the cat was only 6 months old, and the skill has led to appearances on the Jimmy Kimmel Live and a social media ad campaign for Friskies. And there is video. And that is it for the What in Tarnation. All right, let's move on. Now to Promises from God's Heart, the devotional. Now I'm going to read both of these. It's 2 pages. Remember, your Father knows exactly what you need even before you ask. Matthew 6:8 through 11. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and do not rely on your own understanding. Think about Him in all your ways and He will guide you on the right paths. Proverbs 3:5 through 6. Seek first His kingdom and His righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well. Therefore, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. Matthew 6:32 through 34. Be still before the Lord and wait patiently for Him. Psalm 17:7. Humble yourselves, therefore, under God's mighty hand, that He may lift you up in due time. Cast all your anxiety on Him because He cares for you. 1 Peter 5, verse 6. And this one is one of my favorites. Cast your burden on the Lord, and He will sustain you. He will never allow the righteous to be shaken. Psalm 55, verse 22. And that is it for today's devotional. As always, be kind to one another, love one another, get in touch with God, and I will see you again next week. And Merry Christmas, guys. See you guys soon. Bye.